Alright, now I can record for longer than 60 seconds at a time.
Okay. Alright, so the next tea we're going to talk about is black teas. Black teas are, okay, so green teas are known for their floral bouquets, their floral flavors, grassy flavors sometimes. They're often described a little acidic. Black teas, on the other end of the spectrum a little bit, are a little tannic, they're a little more nutty. And the difference between a black tea and a green tea is, so we laid it out initially, again, like that's where we're starting all of these procedures, is that initial layout. Then you take the black tea and you put it in a giant drum of a oven, kind of like a kiln, if you've ever worked with pottery or porcelain. So you put it in this oven and you move it around a little bit in the oven. And you let it dry out, you let it basically oven bake for a little while. And then you bring it back out and you throw a tarp on top of it and you let it sit for a minute while it deoxidates. Because when you fire something, that's kind of what you're doing with the fire, is you're adding the fire's oxygen to the item. So you wait for it to deoxidate. And then you lay it out in a hot room. Now, the deoxidating portion of it, you can't lay out in a hot room, because if you're wanting it to release oxygen and you're applying heat, you're going to get fire. So, that's important. It's also why you covered it with the cloth, so that it can release the heat, the oxygen, without absorbing as much heat, because oxygen, heat, fire. Okay, so so now you're taking it and you're laying it back out, and you go through and you kind of blow dry it at this point. Like you get large fans that are putting, you get large fans that are putting more heat on it, because again, the point here is to make it super dry, because we're going to add it to water later. And then you can sift it, sort it, figure out what teas it goes to. Again, like green tea, black tea often goes to a village distributing plant. So all the farms around you are often either making green tea or black tea. And they're usually making, actually, by region. Like I said, Darjeeling tea is really fancy tea in India. China also has its own really fancy teas. I don't remember them all the way right now. But Pu'er tea is one of the really fancy teas that often comes from China. And all the farms usually make the same variety of tea, so they can all send to the same distribution center. And then the distribution center sends it elsewhere, and we call the tea from the distribution center and all the farms around it, whatever that region of China is called. So often when you're talking about tea, if you're like, this tea is a, see if I can find a region of China. There we go. This is a Baihao Yinzan tea. If you're saying that, that's a white tea. It's from the Baihao region of China. So in wine, you can do this too. In wine, often they require that you read the bottle and discover what region it's from and what year it's from and all sorts of information. Like I can tell you a lot about a wine bottle just by looking at the bottle. I can tell you almost the same just by looking at the name of a tea, because that's how they organize it. I don't think there's any actual law saying they have to do it that way, unlike wine. But that's how they organize it. Okay. From the sifting point, if you've decided that you wanted a little bit of a darker, more charcoal tea, you can refire it. But you don't have to. Okay, so that also lets us talk about Wulong or oolong teas. We don't have any of those. I didn't like the varieties I was tasting. So I didn't grab any oolong teas. That will probably change in the future. Oolong teas are like the hybrid of green and black. So you had that initial laying out. Okay. Then they take this and they put it in the drum. The same drum basically as you're using for black tea. And they fire it. But not as long as they do for black tea. Because then they take it out and they throw it in the wok. And they heat it up a little bit that way. Again, not as long as you do for green tea. Because then they take it out, they roll it up, and they throw it back in the drum. And they fire it that way. And you're going to notice, with green teas and black teas, there were several moments where we spread everything out. And we let it dry naturally. In oolong teas, we haven't done that. We've gone oven, wok, oven. No rest. And then they sift, sort, and send to the distribution center after that. So they didn't let it rest again. Okay. Those are the four main varieties of tea. From there, we can get a little bit fancier in what we've added to it and what we've how we've kind of grown some of the plants in a little bit. There's another tea called yerba mate. We tried like 4 of these things. They taste like manure. But
they reminded me, the one they made me taste, I said, this reminds me of Farm Day at the Junior Museum. You know how it smells?
like, oh my god.
That grassy or...
Oh, it was grassy.
But yes.
They were terrible, which was really sad to me because
You wanted to like it.
yerba mates are energy drinks.
Yeah.
Like, so tea naturally has caffeine in it. A little less than coffee, I believe.
Tea leaf. The actual tea leaf has more caffeine in it than a coffee bean does.
Really?
Yeah, we just don't extract it nearly as long.
There we go.
Yeah.
For good reasons.
But anyways, but yeah, so tea naturally has caffeine in it, and will help you to feel a little bit bouncier. But it's never been considered a energy drink until they came out with yerba mate, which is YERBA MATE. And it was supposed to be the energy drink of teas, like super natural, super cool energy drink of teas. And I love energy drinks. You know,
Terrifying.
I
know what she had on a drink.
Actually, it calms me down. Like, actually, I think I'm more focused. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
But I mean, coffee does that to me.
Yeah. So, yeah, it affects me very similarly to coffee. So, I love energy drinks.
I know. So terrifying.
So, I was really excited for this idea of an energy tea. I'm not excited anymore.
I think they were all like, okay, we messed up, but we need to sell this.
Yeah.
What can we advertise it as?
How do we sell this?
Apparently, it's actually pretty popular in India. Apparently, it's actually pretty popular in India.
I know my sister was in Japan. She was like, oolong tea is everywhere.
Yeah, oolong tea.
Yeah.
Oolong tea is
She
everywhere.
likes it.
Oolong teas. I have some oolong teas that I like. I just didn't get them from the suppliers that we have yet.
Yeah.
Like, I haven't had oolong teas that I like from our suppliers yet. But in the past, I've had oolong teas that I like, and we're gonna have some oolong teas. We're never carrying yerba mate. This was really, I can't express it. Go try it. Really bad stuff.
I've had good yakima though, but it's hard. It does taste a little bit like grassy manure.
It's gross. Anyways.
Perhaps it is an acquired taste.
Perhaps. But the brain damage will work just fine. Anyways. Then you have You also have like regional teas that have been around longer and are supposed to be better. Like I said, Darjeeling is, as far as India teas go, Darjeeling is the name brand. And it's super expensive, like $15 a cup or something.
What?
Yeah, it's super expensive.
My heart hurts.
My bill
Yeah.
hurts.
Yeah, yeah. If we ever get Darjeeling tea, it'll be because we really are like the most advanced tea place in all of Tallahassee. Because yeah, Darjeeling tea is super expensive.
Champagne. Think champagne.
Yeah, definitely the champagne of teas. Except, unlike champagne, it actually does taste better. Anyways, just saying.
Delicious.
I'm not
But
sure
it's not-
champagne's better than regular wine.
I don't know, I would say that, no, I wouldn't, I'm not
See,
gonna say that.
champagne from Champagne, France isn't necessarily better than
Yeah.
sparkling white wine.
Yeah.
Like, it's,
You're right, I'm not
Or
gonna say
brute.
better than wine, y'all think,
Yeah.
you know, that I'm not.
But Darjeeling, from the Darjeeling region, like you can't get if it comes from any other region, it's not allowed to call itself Darjeeling. That is in laws. Like I don't know if they have to call their teas by region, but the teas that are called by region have to come from that region. So Darjeeling has to come from Darjeeling, and it really is a really quality tea. But there's also like Pu'er teas from China. Those are supposed to be a little bit better. We actually have one. We're going to try it today. It's a hazelnut Pu'er. Yeah, I'm allergic to it, but it's had pretty good like reviews. So we're actually going to try it. Pu'er teas are also a little bit of a different manufacturing. So Pu'er teas do the layout, that's called withering. And then they're wood fired. They're wood fired for an initial firing. Then they're rolled. They're laid out and they're rolled. But I don't think ours is. And then they're walked, basically. Then they're put in the wok, just like green teas. And then they're laid out again to finish drying. So Pu'er tea is kind of like an oolong. You know, that mix between the two. But it has to come from Pu'er region, and it's a little bit of a higher quality tea. A little bit more expensive usually. I don't think ours is. Ours is more expensive. But okay.
Would you
Let's
like me to start heating water?
I'm getting ready to do that right now, actually. Let's get to teas. Okay, so we're going to have, for our teas, we have 27 different varietals, and I'm not going to read them all to you. But I tried to get a pretty good viewing of, we haven't talked about herbal teas. Herbal teas, like I said, aren't real teas, because they're not made with they're not made with tea leaves.
But we're
That's
still
the
serving
point.
them, right?
We still have them. That's, I haven't talked about decaffeinated teas because we're not having those. We're not having decaffeinated teas because we're having herbal teas. And herbal teas are teas that are made with other edible plants that we've discovered go well in water. But there's no tea in an herbal tea. There's no caffeine in an herbal tea, and there's no caffeine in an herbal tea because there's no tea leaves.
What's an example of an herbal tea?
An herbal tea is like oftentimes a hibiscus tea is an herbal tea. Chamomile is an herbal tea. Lavender if it's just lavender, is an herbal tea. Lavender Earl Grey is a black tea.
Oh yeah, you know what I got from Publix?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a black tea.
It says black tea on
Lemon
there.
ginger.
Lemon ginger, if it's just lemon ginger, herbal. If it's lemon ginger gunpowder, green tea. So you know, herbal teas really, if it's non-tea plant and then nothing, it's an herbal. If it's non-tea plant and then green tea, black tea, some sort of tea plant varietal from a farm, it's whatever tea the tea is, because that's what makes it tea. So decaffeinated tea, in
Did we talk about decaf
opposition,
coffee?
we did actually, we did, and we're gonna re-go over it here. Decaffeinated tea, in opposition to herbal teas, and this is one of the reasons why we're not looking for a decaf tea. Just like with coffee, the way you decaffeinate a tea, okay, so the caffeine is a part of, just like in the coffee bean, we talked about how the caffeine was a part of a layer of the coffee bean. The caffeine is in the oils of the tea leaves, which are part of, in fact, the tea leaf. So in order to get this caffeine off, just call it decaf, they have to run it under water. So they run it under water as gently as possible, I'm sure. But basically, when you add tea leaves to water, you get tea. So if you're running decaf tea under water, you're brewing tea. So when you get a decaf tea leaf, basically you're getting the second helping of an already brewed tea. We don't think that's conducive to quality, honestly. I don't care what you tell me. If that's the method in which you decaf, you can't tell me that I'm getting the best tea I can possibly get out of this. And unlike coffee, where coffee beans, the only way to get a decaffeinated coffee, you have to get a decaffeinated bean. Teas, most people who would drink a decaffeinated tea prefer herbals. They don't know that in order to call it a tea, you have to have the tea leaves. They don't care. We're not going to tell them because we don't care. So they drink herbal tea. So that's why we have herbal tea instead of decaf. It's because the option of a decaffeinated beverage is actually really kind of important to us, because if you can cater to, okay, we'll go back to the bar. If you can cater to an alcoholic's drunk driver, then the alcoholic is more likely to use you.
Designated driver, not drunk
Oh,
driver.
that's right, designated driver. You know, designated decoy.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you can cater to an alcoholic's designated driver, the alcoholic is more likely to use you, because the driver drove them there and drove them away, and they're more likely to use you. Well, in that same frame of mind, if we're a social place and somebody is anti-caffeine, can't do caffeine, we have a friend, Leanne, not supposed to do as much caffeine. You know, if we want to hang out with Leanne, bringing her to a coffee shop is like bringing an alcoholic to a bar. You know, it's really mean. Unless that coffee shop has non-alcoholic drinks of some variety. So our non-caffeinated drinks are the fizzes, the canned apple sodas. We have a decaf coffee, which can't get away from it, and we have the herbal teas. And we actually have some pretty good flavors of herbal teas. So we should be a place that hangs out. Okay, so you remember way back when? It looks nice. I saw that. It looks nice. You remember way back when we were talking about the initial ritual of tea. When it first came out, it was all incredibly ritualized and stuff. Well, the initial brewing method was this, called the dry wine. And the reason that we have it, and that we should pay attention to it, is because we're going to have tea flights. And tea flights are, have you ever been to a bar that does the beer flights?
Yeah.
We're going to be doing that with tea. because we have 27 different varieties of tea, and because honestly, we're going to be the only place that has tea that really wants to talk about tea. Like, you ever been to Calian Cafe? They have their own tea company. They don't try to sell the tea. They don't try to talk about the tea. They have their own company, Tallahassee Tea Company. We don't have them. They don't taste it. But, so the point.
We tried. We really tried.
We did. We tried them a couple of times.
We wanted to like them, because they're local.
Yeah, we'll probably keep trying it because they're local. But they don't taste good, so we can't start them. But yeah, they have their own company. But when you go in there, like every other coffee shop, they have a small, kind of away from the rest of their board, list of teas. And so, other places they use tea bags. Oh, we're going to talk about that. Stems and leaves and things. Okay, so talking about the stems and leaves and things before I get to this. Well, let me not jump on you. Let me finish talking about the tea bags. So we want to talk about, so we're going to try to be, we're going to have the best variety of tea in a coffee shop in Tallahassee. We're going to have the most knowledgeable baristas in tea in Tallahassee. You know, we're really going to try to push this potential culture of tea in Tallahassee. Now, America is very resistant to the culture of tea because we grew it in the day once. Really, we haven't forgotten that. Ask anybody. But especially ask the Republican. We haven't forgotten that. Like, we've earned every trope you know about politics. But, you know, in other places, in other parts of the world, tea's huge. Like, tea's like the number 3 drink in Asia. Like, any country of Asia you want to talk about, Vietnam, China, India, any of those countries, tea's the number 3 drink in that area, and that's only because they've recently discovered soda. Up until 50 years ago, it was the number 1 drink.
Well, now we do drink water and sweet tea down here in the south.
Yes.
Yeah, but sweet tea
We'll
is
talk about that
going to
in
give
a
you
minute.
diabetes.
So that's more sugar than anything else.
You're correct.
Yeah,
You're
we're
correct.
gonna have better sweet tea than anyone in the south, but it's gonna be kind of northern sweet tea. Anyways,
But we're going to have iced tea that doesn't need sugar.
right, that's gonna be our sweet tea. Which I should probably talk about before I finish talking. Before we do.
Diabetes at a cup.
Exactly. So anyways, so with these tea flights, so we're gonna have, so we're really gonna be talking about tea flights. This is gonna be a discussion that the shop's gonna have that other people in other places aren't talking about. Yeah, no more coffee. Oh. It made 3 cups. That's what it made.
Yeah.
So with these tea flights, we're hoping to get people to try the various different types of tea and to really like talk about what tea can do, because what tea can do is way more than what coffee could ever think to do. Like tea can do lattes. Tea comes in flavors by itself. Tea can do a lot. So we're going to do 2-ounce pours, 6 2-ounce pours on a boomerang tray. We're going to have Stephanie's currently working on she was working on,
You can send this chip around.
let me see, yeah, send that chip around. We're going to have one of these underneath each cup of tea, just like in a beer flight. It labels the tea, it gives tasting notes of the tea, and that way people know what they're doing, what they're looking at. And we're going to brew that in the Sky One.
And we have little silicone grippies for how hot that gets.
Yeah, we have little, oh, I don't have those.
No. You're gonna burn your fingers.
I'm gonna burn my fingers. I'm gonna do all the pouring. Because I'm gonna burn my fingers. And these Sky Ones.
You're going to see that.
Okay, but I'm gonna pause that really quick because we actually have a time-sensitive project I wanted to get to today. Cold brew tea. Cold brew tea, unlike hot brew tea, but very similar to cold brew coffee, requires 6 to 24 hours of brew. We're going for about 12 to 18 because tea, like coffee, if you underbrew it, you just have hot leaf juice with your left. Really, you just have hot water. Like, that's what it tastes like. You get nothing. If you overbrew it, you go bitter. And I'm gonna give you the opportunity to taste that later today. So we want to try to stick in our brews towards a middle timeline here, so that we have less chance to underbrew and overbrew. So we're going for 12 to 18. Basically, at the end of the night, somebody's going to brew the cold tea. At the beginning of the morning, somebody's going to take out the leaves. Okay, so for every cup of tea, we're back to weighing just like in coffee. We're working with grams here. And just like in coffee, working with grams, we're going to weigh it. For every cup of tea, we have for every cup of tea, we're at 3 grams of tea for essentially our 12-ounce pour. Yeah, 12-ounce pour. 3 grams of tea for our 8-ounce cup. So it's going to be 5 grams for a 12-ounce. We'll get to that. So it's 3 grams of tea for an 8-ounce cup, no matter what tea we're brewing here. So we have with us for our cold brew 2-gallon tea cold brew thing. Which I don't remember the math all the way, but essentially
It's 256 ounces.
256 ounces. Okay.
128 is a gallon.
Right. You're right, 256 ounces. So it's 256 ounces. How many cups is that?
Divided by 8. Of course. It's simple.
Exactly. Anyways, he can run through the math if he wants. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to skip straight to the answer because I like cheating. I've already done the math for you. There's going to be 96 grams of tea in each 2-liter thing. These are what we're going to brew our green tea in. Like, this is going to be our filter. This is a really cool contraption that we discovered because we were looking for a filtered, basically kind of like a tea bag. Oh, we should have to talk about that. We'll get to that in a second. Anyways, basically like a tea bag, we were looking for anything that I could put into the cold brew to get it to work, and we couldn't find anything with the microns that would keep us from having sediment. And you'll notice when you get tea brewed from a lot of other places, especially if it's loose leaf, you'll notice that you get a little bit of sediment at the bottom of your cup. People who drink hot tea almost expect it. So, they're kind of fine with it. People who drink cold tea do not expect it. They will pitch a bit of a hissy fit. So we tried really hard to find something that would prevent us from getting sediment. And me and Stephanie were stumped. So we went to Mom and we were like, Mom, we need this. What do you suggest? And Mom said, I suggest looking at craft brewery homebrew kits and seeing if the beer world has solved your problem.
Of course they did.
They did! This is actually a hop basket for home brewers.
Yeah.
And tried, tested, proved amazing. Okay, so we're going to brew directly in this. Always remember, when you're measuring on the scale, to tap on your grams. And we're going to do 96 ounces. Anybody want to scoop?
96 grams.
96 grams. Anybody else want to scoop? This tea that we're gonna make in our cold brew is Maya Tea. Maya Tea is a company that we're going with that is in Arizona. They were started by a child from India. He's not a child anymore. He's now close to his 50s. But he's from India. He spent most of his childhood here, but his family, he's like first generation American. So his family's from India, and he was trying to, in college, he was trying to figure out how to make grandma's tea. Now grandma's tea, being from India, is chai. And he figured it out. He created this chai tea, and everybody raved about it. And he made this company based on his chai tea. And this is Maya Tea. They're fantastic people, great customer service on their end, really fun to talk to. And they're in Arizona.
What are these, little things that they,
Those.
I was just curious. They look like those little poppers that you can get.
They might actually, I think they might
kind of
actually,
tea is
sorry, Alberto, I think those are actually, yogurt pebbles.
Oh.
No. If I have to guess, the creme brulee?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So this smells,
Sorry, Alberta.
it smells
Didn't
kind
even
of
think
like
about that for a
that.
second. But yeah, so Maya Tea is from Arizona. They're one of 2 of our companies that are not in Florida. But they really are fantastic to work with. They actually helped me devise, I'm going to teach you a little bit later, kind of a cheat to cold brew or to make iced tea. We prefer not to use the method that I'm going to show you that they taught, because it's not cost efficient.
And
But
it's not quite as good as cold
What,
brew.
how
yeah,
is it a cheat?
it's not as good.
What does it help you do?
Well, basically, so when we were talking about coffee and ice, and you remember I was talking about dilution of it all, and how I badmouthed iced coffee a little bit. Well, iced tea has the same problem. It dilutes almost like super quick. Except the problem with iced tea is that you really do have to brew tea in hot water unless you have 6 to 24 hours to work with. So with the tea, you pour it over the ice, you immediately cut the strength of whatever tea you just brewed in half. So if you brew double strength tea, and then you cut it in half by pouring it over ice, you get normal strength tea.
We're doing 96 ounces.
We're doing 96 ounces.
Okay.